Greetings, brothers and sisters. Today is the 19th Sunday in Ordinary Time. The Gospel reading presents an event that is key to our experience in our relationship with God. In the Old Testament, as well as in the Jewish tradition, bodies of water like the sea or the ocean are places where the devil resides, his power. And to see Jesus walking on top of this water symbolizes the identity that he is as a divine being and how he has conquered these circumstances. And we find in this experience something very deep within ourselves that, like Peter and the other disciples who see Jesus walking on water, one way or another, our faith was born because we see God conquering the circumstances of our time, how God inspires a faith that challenges the situations that we're going through. We are presented with this invitation and the dialogue that comes between Jesus and Peter. Peter recognizes the Lord, or in his quest to understand, makes a request that he should also walk on water. The Lord does not deny him, he invites him. And one way or another, this symbolizes again a challenge that we also have in faith. We have seen how God works, and our declaration of faith, our understanding of God, who He is, and our willingness to follow Him symbolized in the liturgy of baptism, allows us to get out of the boat, of our comfort zone, and enter into this process of mission and evangelization, a relationship with God encompassed in the divine life of He who calls us into this life. The challenge now is not on the walking on the water, but the realization that the storm continues, the wind is blowing, the waves are high, and they threaten Peter's faith. Similarly, many of us go through the same circumstance. We enter into faith willingly with love, but then over time, the situations that we go through make us feel afraid. They shake our faith. We look at the winds of the times, the waves as they rise, and we feel that we're inadequate to continue on the journey. What this symbolizes, one way or another, is the situations that we go through. We realize that as parents, sometimes being a parent is not easy. Being a husband, being a wife is not easy. There are situations that you go through as an adult person in your family that you cannot willingly share with your family. You are presenting this idea of strength that I'll continue doing what I have to do, but it's hard. As a child in the family, again, the situations that you go through cannot be shared. You cannot always have the space to come to your parents and explain to them how Mjolo is going, how your addictions are getting heavier to carry, how your faith is challenged. And one way or another, unlike Peter, sometimes it's not easy to cry out. And this is where the first reading presents to us the power of small voices. And I want to dwell in this in two dimensions. Firstly, there are times that we have gone through have wounded us, sometimes have burdened us to the point where we feel that life is not easy. We cannot cry out. The best thing we can do is whisper. We have prayers that have been said in silence as we lay in our bed and under the blankets. Many pillows have been wetted with tears. The walks that we do when we're moving from town or to home or vice versa, the drives, the quiet drives that we have in the congestion of life, I've been filled with silent prayers. We have nothing else to give. We have tried the prayers. We have tried the novenas. We've tried the pilgrimages. We have listened to our counselors one way or another, our spiritual directors, but it's not giving. It's not coming to the point where you feel that this thing is working for me. And sometimes this is where the challenge comes in. And if anyone has ever had an opportunity to swim and you're not good at swimming, you know how much water can enter into your mouth when you cry out, how much water can enter into your nose when you swim wrongly. And like Peter, we are drowning. We feel overwhelmed by the situations we go through. We can't cry out. We are tired. We have tried crying out and it's not working. And God, in this circumstance, is presented in the way that Jesus continues to move towards Peter, even extends his hand to pull him out of the water. God is on this journey. And the challenge that we find again in the gospel reading is while Peter cries out to the Lord, the words that he uses, Lord, save me. Many of us have said these words. When we feel that our addictions, our challenges in life have swallowed us up, there are times when we have said these prayers. There are times when we have said, I've had enough. There are times when you feel that you cannot go on, where your prayers feel like they're heavy and are not bearing the fruits that you're asking for. We have gone through a lot, and the Lord save me. That escaped our lips many times over and been heard within the depths of our heart is what we bring to the Lord today. Whatever circumstance you're going through, do not get tired. Do not be so tired that you're afraid to tell God it's happening. Tell the Lord, "Zvukurema, it's hard. I'm going through a lot and it's burdensome. I cannot tell anyone else what I'm going through because I feel that no one else can understand me. I have understood the pain of my current predicament, but I've tried everything possible and it's not working. Lord, I need you to hear me. Cry out. If you cannot cry out, at least whisper. The woman who had this circumstance of 12 years of bleeding, this issue of blood for 12 years, did not say anything to Jesus. She just extended her hand and touched the fringe of his garment and she found healing. For those of us who still have a voice, who can still exclaim in the situations of life, try to say something. Let God in your space. Allow God to enter into the circumstance that you're going through. And if you cannot scream, if you cannot shout aloud, at least try to let your heart talk. A few weeks ago, we were reminded that the Holy Spirit prays on our behalf. If we cannot say the words, at least surrender to the Spirit, and the words that you need necessarily before God will get there. Secondly, the first reading tells us that sometimes the response that we're looking for is not presented to us in loudness, is not presented to us in mysterious events. The challenge that we have in faith these days is we are more concerned about the miraculous, the wonderful. We want to see things happen in a very loud way. We want to see miracles happening. We want to see the sun turning into blood, the earth shaking. But then these are the situations that Elijah finds. He sees the ground shaking, the fire that consumes the mountain. But there's a certain undertone there. God was not there, God was not in it. What spoke to him was the small, still voice. Sometimes the answers that we're looking for, the comfort that we need, the strength that God can provide comes in silent voices, in silent spaces. Many of us are already in those spaces. How many times have we understood that in community, in family, there are people who are there but not there? Who have nothing to provide, who have nothing to say in community, who have nothing to say in the family. And they've come to an understanding that they stay in the peripheries, the elderly, the young, those who are unemployed. Vaiva committees who are with unwanted pregnancies were brought home whom society looks at and looks down upon. They cannot contribute because the rest of the family system is nothing. They are within those spaces where the silent still voice speaks. And there are those in high places who are making too much noise and loud voices who have no time to listen to the silence that God is calling them to. Today is an invitation again to calm down, to listen to the silence that is around us, but not silence per se, but for the voice of God in that silence. Sometimes it takes sitting down in silence, it takes sitting down, calming down, taking time to yourself, and having a quiet discussion with God where the answers can be provided. God listens, but He also responds. Prayer is not basically us just muttering and telling God, I want this, this is going on in my life. I have so much going on. I want this, I need this. But also to take a moment to calm down and listen. Saint John Maria Vianney was once asked about this, as he was seen almost every day in adoration, just silently being there. And one person once asked him, don't you feel bored just coming here, sitting down in silence in adoration every single day? And he says in response, I don't feel bored because I look at him, he looks at me, and both of us are happy. Sometimes it's not about the words that we say, it's not about the large list of prayer of requests that we bring to God. Sometimes it just takes sitting down, being at peace, and letting God respond. Prayer is communication, and communication goes both ways. We want to pray today that one way or another we may learn to listen to God, to allow His small, still voice to respond to us. One writer once mentioned that the challenge that we have with our relationship with God is while God does great things, He presents Himself as a shy, individual. He does not come into our lives with voices, with noises, and with loud exclamations. He does not demand to be seen or acknowledged, but He opens up the door that we might actually enter in and allow us to listen to that voice, to have a discussion with Him, and to communicate with Him. God opens the door. And today, as we reflect on our different circumstances, you know what you're going through. You know the situation that you are in right now. You know the burdens you are carrying. You know the prayers you've been saying in silence. And while you offer this to God, and while we, like Peter, cry out to God and tell Him, Lord, I'm drowning, save me, we also need to take time to listen. For even after Jesus saves Peter, He asks him a very simple question: why do you have little faith? Why did you doubt? And Elijah experiences the same situation where God speaks to him from the small, still voice. It was that voice where Elijah identifies God's presence. May your situation today allow you to call out, and may God give you the response that you need. May you find the comfort that you're looking for. May you find the consolation that you're looking for. And may God respond to you in a way that allows your faith to grow. God bless you.